Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City. In today's video, we're going to learn all about Lego trains. I know nothing about trains. I'm a train dum-dum. All I know about Lego trains is that they're expensive. But other than that, I know zilch. I don't have any Lego trains in my city, or rather I do have a light rail, but it doesn't go anywhere. But I thought it's about time I learned a bit about Lego trains because there's so many AFOLs who just seem to know so much about trains. So I want to know about trains, and hopefully some of you want to learn about trains as well. So I went around the world looking for an expert on Lego trains. That expert did not email me back. So we have Greg from GJ Bricks instead to teach us all about Lego trains. GJ Bricks has a great YouTube channel. He's got several tutorials and how-to videos on train-related stuff. He's also building a great, awesome Lego city, and as you might have guessed it, trains are a big part of his focus. Greg is a Brit living in Sydney. Now, I'm not sure what he did wrong in the UK, but they don't want him, and that's why he's down under. But without further ado, let's say hi to Greg.
Hey JC, thank you for that warm intro. Hang on, I just need to check what you asked me to say. I really appreciate this opportunity. I know you weren't that keen on working with me as your first choice, and I appreciate this because you are so awesome. You are an amazing Lego builder. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm a child of the 80s. I had my first Lego train when I was probably 1982, 1983, which was when we had them with 3A, the big sucker batteries in, and they were a flick on off switch. It was around the time the sort of 12 volt stuff was coming in, which for those that don't know is where you had the power line down the middle of the track. So yeah, that's me. I grew up with Lego trains. I'm an AFOL who's just gotten back into them recently. You can see I'm collecting as many trains as I can. Watch my channel and you'll see how much I love trains. I've got more coming and I just need to get some more trains somehow.
Well, Greg, thanks so much for doing this collab video. I know your time is really valuable. You've got work, your family, and your Lego city. So thank you so much for doing this video. I really appreciate it. And I'll just say this, I was kidding just now. You weren't my second choice. You will never be my second choice. You were my fourth choice. But that's not important. Let's get started. And let's start off with the basics. What do I need to know to get into Lego trains? Obviously, I need train tracks. What's the minimum space I need? Do I use rechargeable batteries? Do I use regular batteries? Give us a crash course on Lego trains right now.
JC, I have to be upfront with you here. The only reason I said yes was because those other 3 people paid me to get you off their backs. So I'm sorry for the Apocalypseburg set. Thanks for that. Got to appreciate that one. So I'm going to assume you're coming in fresh, and I'll focus on the current sets, which are the Bluetooth ones, which replace the old IR system, which has been around for quite a while. You can still buy parts for that through the Lego store, and there are still sets for sale around if you can find them. The last passenger train, and indeed this blue train here, which is one of my favourite Lego trains, IR systems. If you can find that one, get it. So to get started, all you really need to do is to buy one of the packs of Lego trains that you can get, which usually comes with a good loop. That's it, that's all you need to get started. Then they sell track packs on top of that, and you can build a pretty good layout very, very quickly. Just look around on YouTube, there's so many good, simple layouts around. Now, one thing that isn't as good as it used to be is the detail side of things when it comes to Lego trains. They used to sell a whole heap of train stations, trackside buildings, additional carriages. It was just so much you could do. It was great. Now you have to build all that kind of thing yourself. But fingers crossed it will make a comeback, because Lego trains are super popular. I think they're more popular than they've been in a very, very, very long time. Large part due to the AFOL community like you and me, but it's coming back, it seems. So fingers crossed there'll be some more train sets coming up in the next year or so. If you want to go a bit nostalgic and get some of the older stuff, you can get the old 12 volt and 9 volt system. So the 12 volt was a metal rail that ran down the middle of the track. That was a very good system. I recommend looking up how that one worked, because you got a ton of accessories with it. So expensive now though. The next one was 9 volt, which is where they electrified the tracks. That was a good system, a bit like the Hornsby stuff. Personally, I do like the battery stuff. I just wish they did rechargeable batteries rather than having to put lots of batteries in, but that's the way it works. But those old systems are expensive, but they did make some absolutely brilliant trains out there.
Thanks for dropping that knowledge, Greg. The next question is, which train set should I get? As of this filming in 2018, there are two train sets readily available to us. There's the passenger train, set 60197, and there's also the cargo train. However, I've also seen the old white train for sale at a great discount, and that's set 60051. So should I get the old one at a discount or should I get the new one? I know there's a difference in the power functions, so maybe you can tell us about that as well.
Which train to go for now? Well, it really depends what you're going to do with it. I mean, if you're like me, I like having I like trains in all respects. So I actually have both the passenger train and I plan to get the new cargo train. I have this cargo train as well. And the reason being, I have a city area and I have a depot works area as well. I'm working on for mine, as well as there'll be a harbour area here. So I like all kind of aspects of what you can do with that. And if you look at my Lego Ideas 777 book, you'll see some of the ideas I have for that come again from my childhood. That was an absolutely amazing book. So I recommend that one as a good way to get into trains as well. If you can get hold of it, there are PDFs of that online. I don't know how legal they are, but they are there. Some of the previous generation are still around, so the 60051 and 52 sets. This is the 52. I believe you said you've been looking at the 51 set. That's a good train. People do like that one. I personally wasn't that big a fan of the design of it, but it is a very good train. I know a lot of people really do like it. So the next thing to look at is, if your budget will stretch to it, is some of the classic stuff they did. So they did some creator expert trains, the Emerald Knight, the Horizon Express a few years back. You can buy the Horizon Express for around 300, 350 Australian dollars. You do see the occasional bargain. Those don't come with motors. The Emerald Knight is one of the most expensive trains out there, unfortunately, so I've pretty much written off ever owning that, bar a lucky find. But you can motorise both of those with the old IR system, and you would also be able to use the new Bluetooth system as well, although you can't buy the Bluetooth aftermarket at the moment. That's still something that only comes in the set, so it's expected next year sometime you'll be able to buy that as an aftermarket part. As for how interchangeable they are, the IR system and the Bluetooth system can't control each other, but you can put the Bluetooth system into an IR train, and you could possibly put the IR system into a Bluetooth train. The main thing with the IR system is it obviously has an IR receiver, and you need to get that in there somehow. So that's going to be the trick. Personally, I really love the new Bluetooth system. I think it's really, really good. I've had no issues with it at all since I got it. One of the nice things with it is if it does lose connection, the train actually stops there and then, whereas the old IR system I found tend to just kept going. So if it lost connection, you couldn't stop the thing. You had to go and run to it. So if you've got a big layout, that's a big problem. In a small layout like mine, it's easy. But I do have to ask you one question quite seriously, JC. Have you considered the Duplo train? Because I feel that might be more at your skill level.
My next question is a technical one. I do have the 2018 passenger train, and I did set up the track and try it out. However, the train always derailed at the curve, even when the curve was quite gentle. Do you know how to solve this problem? Is there any modifications I can do, or does this happen to all trains?
Derailing is a frustration at full speed, yes. Now I read in a forum yesterday that apparently this might be by design on Lego's part. It does actually go faster than it should, so that it does derail, which the kids really love, and it means they get to play with their fire and police department sets properly. So that's why Lego do it. Now, I've just set up a little demonstration for people that don't know of a train derailing. Oh my God, what was that? That was a minifigure getting run over. That was you, JC. Good Lord, I don't know how that happened. I'm really sorry, buddy. You were standing at the wrong station. Anyway, I'll get that cleaned up. But yeah, there's a couple of fixes you can do to get the trains working, not derailing. One is actually to make them heavier to slow them down. Alternatively, don't run them at full speed. That's no fun though. And another one is to actually bank the track in, if that makes sense. So put some studs on the outside of the train track, like just 1 or 2 studs, and just raise it up, and it just gives it enough. As you can see in this next video, I haven't had a chance to clean up the mess from the last crash, but the train goes round the track without a problem on this one. It's a little bit unsteady. That's mostly because it's a very light train I'm running there to demonstrate this properly, but you can see how that works. Now you can do other things as well, like I have Jacob's bogies on one of my trains, which you can see. Now that's a heavier train, and it's also got the Jacob's bogies. The idea being Jacob's bogies are designed to go fast, have less friction, and also in the event of a train crash, help the train stay more stable. A little bit of science. You can check the video out on my channel anyway, here's the link. There's actually some fantastic videos of the Horizon Express train, one of my favourites of the last generation trains, going flat out and around some rather extremely banked corners. It looks spectacular. The train is amazing. It's a great layout. I'm giving you the link here. Really recommend checking that one out just for train inspiration. It looks beautiful, absolutely beautiful. There are actually some other derailing issues as well, like the Hogwarts Express. If you motorise that one, you will have an issue which you can see in my video. But it's you've got 3 gap and you need a 4 gap between the carriages. The 3 gap, whenever you go over a shimmy, derails. It just doesn't have enough movement. So that's a fix for that derailing.
Thanks for that modification tip. I'll be sure to try it out. My next question has got to do with third-party vendors. I've seen several suppliers who have customized tracks, raised tracks, different accessories that go with trains or Lego trains specifically. Now, is there a need to get these? I mean, I know there's never a need in Lego, but should I be looking to this? Is this something that can really enhance my whole train setup in my Lego city? And are there any vendors that you would recommend over the others?
Third parties is a really good question, because Lego doesn't support trains like they used to. If you go back and look at it, Lego had masses of these crossovers, they had different types of track, they had loads of carriages, they had all of this lighting system from the 9 volts and 12 volt days. It was just incredible the amount of stuff they had. Now you don't get anything. You get train, some junctions and some curves. That's it. Actually, they recently changed the curve and straight pack to be slightly better than the old one as well, but I'm not going to go into that in detail. But yes, there are third parties. 2 of the big ones I know of are 4D Bricks and Trick Bricks, who both work with making 3D printed train tracks, which means they've done some really good stuff that Lego themselves has never done. They've also recreated some of the classic bits like the crossovers. They do wider angle curves. They do, their junctions are actually really good because they're modular, which means you can actually adjust the angle the train comes out of the junction. Trust me on this, that's really important, because the Lego junctions, you really are quite restrictive in how you build things like sidings, like in this train yard here. So I'll be ordering some from Trick Bricks probably. In terms of trains and things like that, there are companies that sell plans for trains. There are companies that sell entire train kits. In fact, I saw Brickmania yesterday released one, which is an 8-stud wide train, which is a slightly different custom build, but it looks absolutely brilliant. Now, if you want to run 8 wide, that's again another challenge, because of you obviously have to allow for that space in your buildings and things like that around the track. So that's a different one. A normal train is 6 wide.
And for my final questions, do you have any recommendations for a website, YouTube channel or blog, anywhere that we can get more information on Lego trains, from the basics to the intermediate to the advanced techniques? I know your YouTube channel is a great resource, but are there any others that you'd recommend?
Other resources is another really good question, JC. You've been thinking about this one. Starting with YouTube, obviously, there's a ton of channels on here who have really good train content. There's that one on the Horizon Express I shared just now. There's also my own channel, obviously, not boasting, but there's also Dunkster Bricks is one of my favourites. I find him very watchable. He does a lot of train shows, a lot of Lego shows in the UK, displays his own MOCs, things like that. It's very watchable. Almighty Arjun has some really impressive layouts. He uses Arduino computers to control his trains quite often as well, so they'll stop at lights, junctions will open, they won't hit each other, all that kind of thing. Really good. And another small channel I recommend checking out is Oliver, who has Obrix, O-B-R-I-X. He does lots of stuff with trains. Him and his dad have got a ton of stuff. He does lots of just lovely videos of the trains running, and you'll see some absolutely beautiful classic Lego trains there. Going beyond that, we have Facebook groups I've found to be excellent resources. There are a ton of Facebook groups on there, people sharing their creations, their questions, their problems. It really is a community that will help you. And Eurobricks as well is one of the more established old school Lego groups that is, again, a brilliant resource for you. So outside of the forums, groups and YouTube, there's also obviously Pinterest and things like that for just daily inspiration. But then there's a couple of books around. As I mentioned before, the Lego Ideas 7777 book, which I recommend. It's classic, it's so good. I've got 2 of them. That really was an inspiration for me growing up. And then there's the Lego Train book, which is a more recent one, which is looking at the history of trains, and it includes plans on how to build a few different trains as well. So I recommend that one. It's on my list to get. I confess I don't have it yet, but I will do, because I know the minute I get it, I will just want to build everything that's in it.
Well, Greg, thank you so much for answering my questions and spending time to do this collab video. Do you have any last words of advice for anyone who's new or wanting to get into Lego trains?
My final words would be, if you're going to go down the train path, be prepared to commit space to it, because they do take up a lot of space. If you look at people like Dunkster Bricks, I said his layout, he has a lot of raised stuff over his train tracks. Likewise myself, here's a photo of what I'm doing at the moment, where I've actually built a whole layer above my train tracks so I can have this a whole space. Otherwise I'd have been quite restricted in the size of my city. I'll be doing that in a couple of spaces. And also look at trick bricks and 4D bricks for different types of junction, because they actually are a bit more compact with what you can do with them, as I'll be showing in a video coming up soon. And then in terms of actual like kits and things like that, just keep looking around for the bargains, because you can get stuff. You will have to build your own ones. Getting the older cities sort of train sets, buildings and things like that is a little bit expensive. I have been looking, I haven't found many bargains. That might just be Australia because the market's smaller, but that's it. Anyway, JC, it has been a pleasure. I'm glad we finally got to do this collaboration video, despite what you said at the beginning. I know you really wanted to work with me. So thank you for this opportunity, and I hope we do another one very, very soon. Take care, everybody, and make sure you subscribe to both me and JC. Thanks for watching.
There you have it, guys. Lego Trains 101 with GJ Bricks. I hope you learned a bit about trains if you're new to trains. I know I've learned a lot, so I'd like to thank Greg one last time, and I'd like to thank all of you for watching. Do check out his channel and subscribe to it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel as well. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.